Hey guys, I'm AfroGeek PlusUltraNappy and welcome back to a brand new anime review. So this series I'm going to be reviewing is one that I essentially grew up watching, I guess you can say. This was the first manga series I ever read. I did a video talking about what series got me in the manga, so if you've seen that video, then I think you know which route I'm going into. And that series I'm talking to you guys about is the one and only fan service cringy action harem comedy bullshit Rosario Vampire, but not the complete series, of course, because then that would be a way too long of a video. I ain't got the time for that. This is just a season 1 review, and oh my gosh, is this the most cringiest shit I have ever seen. And I did a video talking about some cringy anime series. I was a pubescent teen going through puberty, so obviously I'm about to be like,
oh my gosh, this is the greatest fucking anime in the world.
This is not. It's, if anything, this is the most cheesiest harem cliche shit, and yet I oddly still love it. Something about it that keeps me coming. I don't know what it is. It's pure cringe, and I don't know if I will. No, I definitely will watch it again because I have nothing else better to do with my life. Anyway, so the genre this rolls under is comedy, supernatural, and harem. So it was written by Akita, I hope I pronounced the name right, and the studio that did it was Gonzo, and Gonzo is known for other series like, I don't know, I'll just put a list of some famous Gonzo anime that people may know. So it is licensed by Madman Entertainment and Funimation. So its original run was from January 3rd, 2008 to March 27th, 2008. This anime series is legit almost 13 years old. To be honest, I had no idea that this anime series even came out in the to like the mid to late 2000s. This season happens to have a total of 13 long, rangy episodes. So now we get into the voice cast. You got Skune Uno, voiced by Todd Haberkorn. And then you got Mocha Ashia, who is voiced by Alexis Tipton, who is one of my favorite female voice dub actresses. She voices Outer Mocha, and then Colleen Clickerbeard voices her vampire form. Colleen is another one of my favorite female voice dub actresses within the industry. So then you got Kiramu, who was voiced by Brianna Palencia, and then you get Yukari, who was voiced by Monica Rail, who was another big time one in the industry that I also enjoy a lot of her work. Mizore, who's voiced by Tina Ballard, and then you get Ruby, who is voiced by Leah Clark. You get Gin Morioka, who is voiced by Ian Sinclair. Shizuka Nekomona, who is voiced by Jamie Marchi, and the Bat, who narrates a lot of the fights in the episodes, voiced by Jerry Jewell. So like I said, a lot of big time names that are in this series. So now we're gonna move on into the episodes, which is, oh dear God, is as bad as you may think. So now we move on to episode 1 called A New Life and a Vampire. And literally all these titles have "and a vampire" in it. You get average student Skune Uno. All his friends get accepted into their dream high schools, but he literally got rejected by every fucking high school. Either this dude just has really bad test anxiety, or this dude is dumb as shit. His dad ends up running into somebody at, I believe, a gas station or a store, and he hands him a brochure for a school called Yokai Academy. His parents, without hesitation, just send him to that school. His dad's like, oh, it's a school that will take anybody? Well, my son is dumb as fuck, so yeah, I'll just send his ass there. You know, Skune's like, you guys don't even want to look at the brochure. You don't even want to like tell me what the school's about. They're like, nope, get the fuck out of our house. Once he goes to the school, he befriends Mocha. Every harem fucking anime, it's not just, oh, it's a casual nudge on the shoulder and, oh, hello. It's I'm riding my bike. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going to. Whoa! And then they collide. The typical, you get the panty shot, which I'm not gonna show, and then you get the inappropriate grope. Why must you do this? And now, as a pubescent teen, you're just kind of like, or a preteen even, you're just kind of like,
Oh my god, oh my god, they're so painful.
Mocha senses that something's off with Skune, and she ends up smelling his freshly scented human blood, and she ends up sucking on his neck, getting the blood. And if that didn't say that weird enough, it's literally just like every fucking altercation they have together. It's literally like, oh my god, it's Skune. And then sucks on his blood. And then you get that usual screen fades to black, and then you just hear him go, ah! And then it's just, you hear like the, oh, moan of a female Japanese girl. Why was I like this? Why did I fucking watch this show? Why was I that thirsty? Why was I that horny? That's the only thing I can ask myself nowadays is why. Skune realizes that he's in a school for monsters, but everybody while they are attending Yokai Academy has to stay in their human form, because apparently monsters have fucking human forms, and the school has a magic barrier to protect humans from entering. Didn't work for Skune, so Skune tries to run away and go home. Can't blame him, because if I was a fucking human in the only school for monsters, I ain't fucking staying, I'm leaving. And so Mocha tries to, to talk him into like, hey, what are you doing? Don't leave. And then they end up running into a older student there who tries to take advantage of Mocha. So Skune, doing what every harem simp does, he gets in front of Mocha, arms spread out like this, and he's like, you're not gonna hurt her. And then this dude's just like, man, get the fuck out of my face. He literally backhands the shit out of Skune, and then before he goes tumbling, he removes the Rosario from Mocha's neck. Mocha turns into a vampire, outer vampire form. So, Mocha has your typical schoolgirl outfit with pink hair, but this one becomes even bustier than what her original form was. Bigger, silver, nice, beautiful hair, nice eyelashes, that deep feminine voice that seduces men in their dreams and easily defeats the delinquent. And then basically Skune wakes up in Mocha's arms. Oh goody, you're awake. Let me suck your fucking blood. Episode 2, Succubus and a Vampire. And if you thought the first episode was cringy enough, oh boy, the second episode where we get introduced into a succubus named Kiramu, and all the boys are simping over this blue-haired busty succubus. Back then I was like, oh wait, Mocha, who? You got this fine, beautiful specimen out here? And I definitely was, if I was not simping over Mocha, I was definitely simping over Kiramu. She was like every boy's like fantasy. Kiramu notices Skune because she gets that vibe like, ooh, he's different. And around this time, Skune's kind of like, oh, Mocha's only using me for my blood. She doesn't want to be my friend. Fuck that bitch. Mocha starts to also get jealous when she sees Kiramu trying like, put the moves on Skune. Kiramu gets jealous. And so she's like, homegirl, no, he don't like you. You suck his blood. I'm trying to suck that. She tries to put a spell on Skune. The spell ends up breaking because this nigga is still simping over Mocha. She's like, alright, fine. You don't want to hit this? Then I'm gonna kill you, nigga. Removes the Rosario from Mocha's neck. Mocha turns into her outer form, beats the shit out of Kiramu. But Skune gets in front of Kiramu and he's like, spare her. She's just human like the rest of us. And it's just like, nigga, if you... Mocha decides to spare Kiramu, and Kiramu ends up staying at the school, and she's like, haha, I love you, Skune, and I'm not going to rest until Episode 3, Witchling and a Vampire. We get introduced to this young little girl who is a witch called Yukari, and she happens to be a new student at Yokai Academy, and she skipped several grades. She develops a crush on Mocha, trying to get Mocha to isolate herself from the others so she can have her to herself. While trying to do this, Yukari tricks Mocha into thinking that Skune is trying to make sexual advances on Kiramu, and so Skune ends up popping off on her, and it's like, no one likes you, just get the fuck out of here. And so she ends up running, and then you find out her backstory. She used to get bullied a lot for being a witch, and she never really had any friends. That sad story sap shit. She's like, well, I don't need friends anyway, friends are stupid. And this lizard man man and his two friends try to basically take out Yukari and kill her because she is a witch, and they hate witches, and witches are looked down upon, I guess, in the monster world, essentially because I guess they're too close to humans. Skune comes in with the others, and then them dudes like, man, if you don't get the fuck out of here. So before fainting, he ends up removing the rosary from Mocha's neck. You know, Mocha and Kiramu and Yukari end up taking them all down. You know, all is peace. They end up all becoming friends, and Yukari decides that she now just doesn't have a crush on Mocha, but she has a crush on Skune. So now we move on to episode 4, Farewell in the Vampire. There's this fan club coalition of 3 people. One who is obsessed with Mocha, one who is obsessed with Kiramu, and one who is obsessed with Yukari. For the dude who is obsessed with Yukari, that's fucking sick because she's literally a little girl. The guys get jealous because they think Skune is taking all the attention away from the girls, you know, and Skune is kind of like, you know, like, oh, I'm kind of tired of you 3 always having to come to the rescue and rescuing me. And the girls are just like, nigga, we don't give a fuck. We like you, you know, like you are our friend. 3 guys and like, hey man, these are our women. Back off, miracle. Skune's like, I don't know who you guys are, but I'm gonna fight you. The girls end up stepping in, saving them, and Skune's like, I can handle my own, and ends up getting demolished and pulls the rosary once again on Mocha's neck, transforms, and all 3 of the girls stomp them niggas out. Mocha thought Skune was trying to leave campus. When she saw him, she got all upset when it was just Skune trying to give the bus driver letters to give back to his family at home. Oh jeez, why? Why did I commit? And it's just like, you're 4 episodes, about to be 5 episodes, balls deep in, might as well just finish. So now we move on to episode 5, School Swimsuit and a Vampire. So the gang tries to figure out what extracurricular activities they want to do. They all kind of find all these clubs, and everybody's like either like nope, it's like one person wants to, the rest doesn't. So then Skune is like, oh, how about the swim club? Because he's like, you know, I'm trying to see Mocha in that swimsuit, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see Mocha in that. You know, Mocha's just like, I can't because, you know, I'm a vampire, and she has an aquaphobia, which she has a fear of water, which the water will shorten her abilities. When she's trying to transform into a vampire, she will become weak, so vampires really don't fuck with water. Skune's like, I don't give a fuck, we joining the club anyway. There's this teacher mermaid person named Tamio or Tiamo, I can't pronounce her fucking name, nor am I gonna try to. She is secretly a mermaid along with the other girls in the club, and they try to secretly isolate Skune from Mocha. Mocha's like, Skune, join the swimming club, I'm so mad. The mermaids try to seduce Skune, and Skune's like,
My heart only beats for Mocha.
so then they're kind of like, all right, nigga, fine, lose the hard way. And so they turn into the mermaids, and like they become vicious. Mocha dives in and ends up getting fucking electrocuted. Skune rips off her rosary, turns into a vampire, but she's extremely weakened. So the other 2 girls step in and help save the day, and Mocha gets her strength back by having Skune having the mermaids come up out of the water and on the land, and she whoops the dog shit out of the mermaids. They can't seem to find a club to join. Their teacher's like, well, hey, why don't you join the newspaper club? And so they all agree to join the newspaper club. So now that leads us into episode 6, Newspaper Club and the Vampire. So during the first meeting of the newspaper club, Skune and company are introduced to Gain, who's known for using his seductive charm on the ladies. So they end up joining the club, and things seem to be going well. Skune starts to get framed for being a peeping Tom at the school. These photos start to surface up, and Gain tries to sabotage Skune into saying he's the peeping Tom. Later on, Gain tries to put the moves on Mocha, but Yukari and Kiramu kind of point out several things that doesn't add up. They end up finding out that Gain is the actual one who's going around peeping at these women and also sexually abusing them too. And so he turns into a werewolf, which is a very powerful monster within the monster realm. Skune tries to do his usual, I won't let you hurt her, even though you're gonna beat my ass, so just hit me already. And he beats the shit out of Skune, scratches him pretty good. He rips the Rosario off. Mocha ends up becoming a vampire, ends up whooping Gain's ass. And then the next day, they put out flyers exposing Gain as being the peeping Tom. And oddly, they decide to become friends with him. Don't know why they would want to become friends with a sexual abuser and a peeping Tom and a fucking misogynist. The harem anime world, I guess. So now I move on to episode 7, Snow snow girl and a vampire. So this is when we get introduced into Mizure, who is a snow girl. So Skune and the others are selling newspapers for the newspaper club, and he happens to run into Mizure. So she starts seeing him as a lovely loner like herself and thinks that she should be his soulmate. You know, she tries to basically get Skune to isolate from the others, but Mocha and Kiramu prevent that from happening. So then Mizure ends up getting in a bit of a pickle. She ends up being on the risk of expulsion when the PE coach accuses her of attacking him, when in reality that's not the case. The PE coach was trying to attack her in Kraken form and try and take advantage of her. And so in the midst while all this is going on, you know, Skune politely rejects her and she basically tries to jump off a cliff and kill herself, and Skune is like, yo, whoa, hold up, girl, what you doing? And then Mocha sees this and tries to save them. Mizure is like, if I can't have you, then nigga, no one can. Basically tries to do the same thing Kiramu did in episode 2, tries to kill Skune along with the others, or tries to at least freeze the others and get Skune to himself. The Rosario's removed, and Mocha basically tries to talk some sense into that girl while whooping her ass. She apologizes to everyone, and the next day she comes in, she cuts her hair, and she's like, you know, I won't rest until you're mine, Skune. And so Skune is like, oh god, now I got 4 bitches trying to hop on my dick. Episode 8, Math Teacher and a Vampire. So this one, Skune, the beautiful math teacher Kagome, is giving out midterms to the students, and Skune's worried that he's gonna fail, and if he fails, he'll have to go to summer school and possibly repeat the 9th grade. Everybody ends up trying to tutor him, but nothing works in his favor, and he can't get any studying done. But Kagome insists that Skune gets private tutoring sessions, and so Skune goes there. He ends up being seduced and ends up under some spell, trying to feed him math formulas while seducing him. So Mocha finds out Kagome is a Lima, which is some type of snake thing, and Mocha tries to defeat her, but too strong. So Skune snaps out of the spell, removes Rosario. Mocha easily defeats Kagome. And so the next day, Skune manages to pass his midterms. So now we move on to episode 9, which is Summer Break in a Vampire. Alright, so I decided to pause the video right here because I realized that I'm just going to start rambling on and on and on and on, and this video is just going to drag way longer than it needs to, because honestly, this review is kind of ass, and this series is so fucking cringy that I can't really stand to edit and see myself continue to suffer and basically feel like I'm fucking dying. So I'm just gonna give you a little short synopsis of episodes, I believe whatever I said through the last episode, which is 13. So basically, in the 2 episodes that I'm about to talk about, basically they stumble upon a sunflower field and they meet this girl named Ruby, who ends up trying to kidnap Yukari because those two discover each other, and to their surprise, they're both witches and they hit it off. Ruby tries to kidnap Yukari to make her join her and her guardian, some lady, creepy old lady, and the gang's like, nah, fuck that. So they literally spend 2 episodes fighting Ruby with some monster plants, and she tries to use spells, but then Yukari backfires and hits her with some counter spells, and basically after a big, long, unnecessary 2-episode battle, Ruby ends up joining the gang at Yukai Academy. So basically episodes 11 through 13 are really short and simple. I mean, it's a 3-part kind of episode. So basically a newspaper club is really hitting it off. They're selling newspapers, they're having a ball. The security committee's kind of like, nah, fuck that, you're not finna have fun. And they try and shut it down, but they're like, hey, what the heck? No, you can't shut us down. And Ging's like, hey, listen to them. Versus their security committee. They actually run shit in this school. And so they burn all their papers and everything, but the gang's just kind of like, nah, fuck that. We're not going down without a fight. So then one of the committee members starts to accuse Skune of being human. So Skune goes on trial. They basically try and get information out of his friends, and everybody's like, no, Skune's a monster. I don't know what you're talking about. He is a monster. He is not just a human, blah, blah, blah. We all have to keep human forms, yada, yada, yada. Basically, what happens is Skune ends up confessing to being human. Everybody's in disbelief, and he ends up being on trial to become executed the next day. the security committee ends up being evil, and so Geen, the teacher, and a couple of the others break the ones who were captured and imprisoned free, and they also free Skune, and Skune tries to stand up for Mocha when they all try and fight Mocha, but he ends up getting severely hurt and almost ends up dying. Like, the poor simp ends up dying for a vampire. You know, Mocha ends up seeing this, and she ends up giving Skune some of her blood, and basically Skune ends up getting up. Mocha fights some fox demon, and basically after the whole battle's over, if it looks like Skune was the one that fought the security committee, and then they just roll with the flow, and they're like, yeah, Skune did this shit, we didn't do this, you know, because he is a monster after all. So Skune ends up not being executed, he ends up staying at the school, and everything is happily ever after. And that ends season 1 of this bullshit series that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I covered, but it's Halloween, and I promised something that was Halloween-esque, and that is Halloween-esque. Sadly, I like this series, and I don't know why. I think I like the manga more than the anime, because the anime is just pure cringe. The manga is cringe too. Like, I remember I was reading that shit in class, and people thought I was straight up reading hentai, and then I had wallpaper of Rosario Vampire on my iPod Touch. Cheerleaders saw that shit, and this rumor went around in school saying that I had hentai on my iPad, and that I was reading hentai at school, all because of fucking Rosario Vampire. See how this series got me in trouble, guys? You see how one measly harem series got me in trouble. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, then I guess hit that dislike button, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Guys, we are trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2020. Share this channel around with your friends, share the video. If we can do it, let's get to 100 subscribers. And if you want more from me, hit up my links in the description below: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, and my main channel, Pokemon 1086. And if you want to do more to support me and this channel in the future, hit up that Patreon. I got awesome tiers and awesome rewards for those who donate to help out the channel. But honestly, clicking on the video, sharing it, and liking it, and just watching it means just the world to me as well. So I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I am AfroGeek +UltraNappy, and your boy is just